Hi everyone, this is Aarti here again. I'm back. Okay, now the next thing I want to show you guys is another gift item that, because gifts are such an important part of Christmas. So now, this is again something that I had gotten from the Dollar Tree. These are also available at almost every thrift store that I have been to in Florida. They they're even cheaper in thrift stores. They cost maybe $1 or less. Sometimes they only cost 50 cents based on how long they've been there and how dirty they are. But you can always, it's glass, so you can wash it and make it all nice and shiny again. Again, I want to stress on the fact that I am using most of these Dollar Tree items that I have in my, which I'm showing you guys in these videos, were items that I already owned. So they weren't really an out-of-pocket cost for me. And, I think that's being a crafter. I'm sure other crafters who are watching this video will understand that you buy and buy and buy and buy thinking, every time you see something cute, you think, oh, I'm going to do this with that and I'm going to do that with that. And if you're anything like me, you have bought like, tons of stuff and you wouldn't have actually used any of it. So I think that's one of the reasons why Dee asked me to be part of this hop. And it really was a challenge for me to, not, I told myself that I would actually do Christmas on a dime. But of course I ended up spending like 200 dimes, or sorry, 20 dimes. But for me, the point or the challenge was to use whatever I already owned. So I pulled out whatever, junk that I had hidden right at the back of all my deep pocketed closets. But okay, again, so cutting to the chase, this was a ribbon, a lace that I had bought from Hobby Lobby a while, maybe 6 months back. They were having a sale on these, and I think the original cost is maybe $2.99 a yard, and so they were like, I think 30% off. I don't recall, but they were on sale. And so even if they were $2.99 a yard, you use maybe 12 inches on a vase like this, so you can make 3 of these. So, and then I used these are things that I already owned, but these cost $2.75 a yard if you're buying them at retail. And the flatback pearls, I really don't know how much they cost, but I know I bought like 100 of them for maybe a couple of dollars from Emma. So I have, I bought quite a few when I had bought them a few months back when she was selling flatback pearls. I don't know if she still does, but if she does, hit her up. So I used this lace. I went around it. I used this and a little flatback pearl. That was all that I used in terms of, prettying this up. Now in the front, I used a handmade flower. I used a doily at the back, and I used some old bed sheet, which I just cut up and used. And if you guys want to learn how to make these flowers, Trisha, who is a little shabby chic on YouTube, has a tutorial on how to make these pretty flowers, how to use, old pieces of cloth to make handmade flowers, these kind of shabby flowers, grungy ones. So, well, they're not grungy actually, they're kind of just shabby. Okay, so, and then I used one of these bigger shabby rosettes. I used the same lace that I had used on the other thing over here, and I used a small rosette. And I used a little piece of bling and a little tiny little doily center here, but you can substitute the bling for, like I said, for the buckles and the flatback pearls. And I used the same little pearls and the same cheap flat lace and a little other piece of lace that came off some packaging. Yes, I really am a hoarder. I keep everything, including packaging. So, and inside I got potpourri from the dollar store. You get a whole bag, and this is the whole bag. I poured the whole bag inside, and it pretty much fills it up. This makes for a very nice hostess gift if you're going to somebody's house for dinner, for, you know, during the Christmas holidays. You can also, you know, fill it, do gifts in a jar by putting other little goodies like lotion, body lotions, and, you know, other things that women use, and or you can put, I'm not getting the right word, beauty products. Okay, so you can put beauty products in here, you can put candy for the men, you can put homemade cookies inside, or you can just, you know, put flowers inside and take it. Or you can even just get a gift card and stick it in there, you know, along with the potpourri. You don't have to use the potpourri, I mean, if you're putting gifts inside. Now, this was something which I didn't think of when I was making these, but one of the things that you can do is, I didn't tie this lace to the jar because I hate it when you can see the glue line inside. So what I did was I used this, I, you know, tightened it around the neck of the vase, and I glued it behind this flower. I basically glued the flower to these small flowers where they met. That way, so you can see that the whole thing moves. Now, what you can also do is, if you're giving Christmas gifts in these, instead of gluing the big flower down to the lace and these little flowers, you can use Velcro. You can glue Velcro to the back of these and Velcro to the place where these join up. And that way, if you're gifting just flowers, regular old flowers, they can, you know, remove it, wash the vase after the, you know, the flowers are gone, and reuse it for whatever else they want to. So that, and the total cost for this was $1 for the jar and $1 for the potpourri, so that was $2. If you were to go out and buy this, I would recommend buying a yard with a coupon, which would cost you $1.50 at, or I think they use 40% off coupons only at Hobby Lobby, so it would cost you about $2, and you can make 3 of these jars with the same 1 yard. I used about $1 worth because I used less than half a yard of these, so that was $1, $2, or rather I would say 75 cents, because $2 divided by 3 would be 75 cents, or $1.75. The shabby flowers probably cost me maybe $1, so that would be $2.75, $3.75, $4.75, so under $5, not including the gift card, of course. So that was another gift item. Now, this is something that I'm going to show you for your home. You can, of course, also gift it if you like, but okay, now this is one of the items that would cost you maybe $15 or more. So if you're working on a $20 budget and you don't have anything in your stash, then this would kind of be the one big thing you'd be able to make. But if you already have most of these items in your stash, then, you know. So I had gone crazy last year during Christmas, and I had bought quite a few of these foam shapes, the round wreath foam things from Joann's, and they had, I think they're $5, $4.99 each, and I'd used a coupon and got it for $2.50. I think I'd got them during one of their Christmas sales. The foam stuff never goes on sale, so you always have to use a coupon. So I bought like maybe 3 of them. Anyway, so I pulled one out and decided to use it. Now this was burlap fabric that I got from Joann's. And again, the burlap fabric right now is on sale because I couldn't remember how much it cost me when I bought it. So I went online and looked, and this regular plain burlap fabric at Joann's is usually $3.99 a yard, and right now with their sales going on, it's $1.99 a yard. It's 50% off. So, and a yard is a lot, guys, so you can just get half a yard or even a quarter yard at Joann's when you're buying things that need to be cut. So I used maybe less than a quarter of a yard, so I basically used about 25 cents worth of fabric. And what I did was I cut the fabric into strips, into long strips, and I rolled them, just wrapped them around this, and then I just sprayed or sprinkled some glitter all over the burlap, I used white burlap instead of brown, and I sprinkled some glitter, which you can see. Now I have these already. I had leftover pieces from the rolls that I was selling, so they kind of became my stash. And I used maybe about that much of it, maybe 6 to 8 inches worth of this little trim. I cut the little flowers apart, and if you don't have this, that's fine. You can just go ahead and use just regular pearls or beads, or just nothing if you don't really want the same look. Now for this I used this little thread that, or rather this ribbon lace that you get at Hobby Lobby. I think it's either $1.99 or $2.99 for a roll, but I had some that had been given to me by somebody, and I blame them for getting me hooked to this lace because I absolutely love it. So anyway, so I just tied a little thing so that you can hang it. Now this was an ornament that I had purchased last year. Again, you get them in those packs, and to get this kind of, I bought the clear plastic. Okay, I bought the clear plastic ones, and I mixed, or I watered down Mod Podge, like a little bit of Mod Podge and lots of water. I poured it into this and swirled it around, and then poured the solution out, and then I put glitter. You get these little tubes of glitter for I think 99 cents at Joann's. So I got one of those little tubes. They're I think in the kiddie section. You might want to walk around and see what your Joann's has. And I poured it in it, shook it, and chucked the excess glitter out. So that gave me this kind of effect. You can use any other color of glitter that you like. Now I did use a little leftover piece of this that I had, of the little $5.99 a yard pearl drop trim, but you don't have to use this. I did because I had little bits and pieces left over that I didn't know what to do with, so I just went ahead and glued those here. This was a $2 a yard lace, which I used just a little leftover piece off again. These were mostly scraps that I used on this. And then again in the center I used a little piece of bling, but you can use just pearls. So this was an ornament that I just hung off the center of this. Now moving on, over here I used this leaf lace that I used to carry, and now I just have scraps left over, so that's what I'm using. But this lace, if you were to buy it by the yard, it would be about $5. So you would use maybe a half a yard, or I wouldn't even say half a yard, about 1/3 of a yard on this project. These were little pearl sprays, and hold on, I will actually show you what the sprays look like. Okay, so this is what the sprays look like. They're from Joann's, and originally they cost $1.99. But if you're buying them around this time, they would be 50% off already, or maybe even more if you're buying them during the Black Friday sale days. So they were, I didn't even need to use a coupon. They were just maybe less than $1. And so I got these colors. You can do the wreath in other colors. You can use dark burlap if you have that. If you have the dark brown burlap, you can use that. You can use red berries instead of the white ones, or gold ones, or whatever other colors that you that they have available that you can get your hands on. So again, I used one of those things on this. I cut it into several bits and try to make it stretch as far as possible. And I used this handmade flower, and again I had a little bit of this left over, this trim, but you don't have to use it. Your handmade flower will look just as pretty without the bling. And here in the center I did use the buckle with the pearl. Now here, these are two other shabby flowers with just plain pearls in the center, and I just curved these have like really stiff wires under them, so I just curl them to stand in place. I layered all of these over this leaf trim. So that the ornament was I think you get, I don't recall how much you get them for, but I think you also have them in the dollar bins over there for maybe $1 or $2 or $1.50 each. So you don't have to buy the whole 6-pack, but I'm sure most of you already have these plain ornaments available, or you can always go ahead and buy them. They are on sale right now, so you'll get a good deal. And of course, so this including the cost of everything would have cost me, let's see, $2.50, $2, 3, 4 for the flowers, $7.58 including the leaves and everything. And so even including the bling, it would cost you less than $15 to make this. So if you want to make a pretty something for your own door or for your own craft room, this is a good choice. But since I already had all this stuff, it was basically free for me. And you can always substitute whatever you don't already have to make it free for you. Instead of burlap, you can use ribbon, which you already own, or lace that you already own. Virginia showed a brilliant tutorial of how she used lace around a wreath to cover the wreath. So, you know, you can use items that you already have. And if you don't have it, you can go ahead and spend $15 to make this. Okay, now that was the first wreath. And I have another one. This was the cheaper wreath. Now this wreath, I made a heart-shaped wreath. Now the heart-shaped wreath again was I think $4.99 each, and I got it for half off. I don't recollect because I bought them, like I said, I bought them last year at Christmas. So, but I would, I don't think they would cost more than $5 each, or maybe $6. So with a coupon, let's say it would cost about $3. Now this was now before I tell you about the ornaments, I used this ruffle lace that I used to carry in my store for $2 a yard, and because I gathered it real close, I used maybe just shy of 2 yards. So it cost me $4 worth of this. Now, because, you know, I'm so smart, what I did was, instead of gluing this down, I used these little pearl pins. I don't know if you guys can see. So I used these little pearl pins and held the lace together. So after my holiday is over, or when I'm bored of this little thing, I just unwrap the lace and I can reuse the lace, and I can also reuse the heart wreath. So that is multi-purpose. Okay, now again, this flower over here is a handmade flower. You can see the tutorial at A Little Shabby Chic's channel. And again, what I did was, the flower comes off. I used these little pins, and you can take the flower off or keep it glued there if you like. This is some cheap flat lace that I don't recollect. I think maybe somebody sent it, or I found it at Goodwill or one of those places. This is the same lace that I showed you on the other one, which was the lace with the pearl from Hobby Lobby. And this is just some, I don't even know what this is called, yarn maybe? I don't know. Fibers, I guess. So I tied a bow with that, and there. Now, what I did was, because I couldn't make up my mind about what ornament I wanted. Now, I had a few different ones from the Dollar Tree, and these I had gotten for my tree, but I'm using them for my other projects as well. So you get 2 of them for $1 at the Dollar Tree. I think they're available now as well. Now what I did was, I used a little pin over here on the top, and I've pushed it in but not all the way through. So as you can see, you're just hanging the ornament in the center. So you can change over the ornament and put this also from the Dollar Tree, or You can put this, which is also from the Dollar Tree. So there are various different options. I think that looks kind of cute too. So you can put that instead, and you have several different options. You can also do, you know, if you have a man in the family, you can use one of those, or a teenager. So, or you can even change it up every day if you like. So you'll have something new every time, you know, you go out the door. So that was another, or you can just leave it plain, you know, it looks cute like that too. So that is wreath number 2. Now this cost me $4 and $2.50, $6.50 and $7, including the ornaments and everything, not including the flowers. So I would say just under $10 to make the whole wreath. So it's not really cheap, but oh well. It is cheaper than what you would pay for a wreath outside, or something that you would use a lot of products on. Now, the third, or rather the last thing that I'm going to, oh wait, there's a little thing that I still have to show you. So this is one of those foam trees, you know, the little foam trees. I've glued some felt at the bottom, and then I used this lace. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is not because it's something really fancy, but the idea behind it was that I should be able to use items that, you know, Christmas comes once a year, but you still need the, you know, and every year you want something new for Christmas. So what I did was I used a little pin and stuck the lace together, but after Christmas is over, I can just take the lace off and reuse it for another project and save the little thingy in there for next year. So next year I can have a different kind of tree or something new or whatever's, you know, we always go with the trends. So if there's somebody else who comes up with a brilliant idea next year, I'm going to want to copy it, and instead of going out and buying another foam shape and, you know, having to put this in storage and all that stuff, instead of that, and that would be a waste of product. So I used, and these foam shapes were again things that I had bought last year. There were 3 of them for I think $4.99 at Joann's, so $2.50, or I would say just about $2 each. Plus this was some lace that Dee had sent me, and this was, I think she was selling it for $3 a yard. I used a yard, but I wouldn't count that as use of items because I can reuse them later. So $5, actually $2 just for the foam shape, and all of these things come apart so you can reuse them. Oh, and I couldn't find it, but I had a little star pick that I had gotten from Joann's last year when it was like 70 cents per pick. They had like 3-4 white stars on them, and they come on little metal pieces which would also be similar to these pins. So I thought I would glue, when I do find it, I'm going to stick it on the top, so you have a tree with a star, which totally comes apart. Now the last part of this video is actually gonna be a little bit of a tutorial, so I'm going to stop the video now and I'm going to move over to part 3.